I still remember the sound of his voice the day he said, "I love you, only you, forever." That sentence used to be my lullaby, my sunshine, my everything. But now, it echoes like a warning bell, like a cruel joke whispered through broken glass. I gave him my heart, and he handed it back in pieces. Some say heartbreak kills you slowly, but mine, it woke something inside me I never knew was there. A storm, a fire, and from the ashes of that love, I built an empire. My name is Alana Green. I was 22 when I met him, Jason Carter. I had just moved to Chicago after graduating from Howard. I was working 2 jobs waitressing in the evening and freelancing graphic designs on my laptop at night. Life was hard, but full of hope. I believed in love. I believed in hard work. And when I first saw Jason at a downtown bookstore, leaning over the poetry section with a worn copy of Pablo Neruda in his hand, I thought, there he is, the one. He was kind, charming, and impossibly smart. He worked at a tech startup and loved to talk about space, coffee, and dreams. He said I was different. He said he loved how I laughed with my whole face, how I wore mismatched socks, how I lit up when I talked about art. And I believed him. For 2 years, we were a story. The kind people envy. Long walks by Lake Michigan. Midnight tacos in Logan Square. Rainy Sunday mornings in bed reading to each other. He made me feel seen, known, chosen, and I gave him everything: my time, my secrets, my dreams, even the parts of me I hadn't yet figured out. We dreamed of opening a creative agency together one day. He said we'd name it after our favorite quote, "To the stars who listen, and the dreams that are answered." I wrote that on my bedroom wall. He met my mother, who lives in Atlanta. He held her hands and said he would never hurt me. We cooked together, built furniture together, and even shared a joint bank account for the future. He said, on his 30th birthday, I gifted him a handmade leather journal, filled the first few pages with poems I wrote for him. He cried, or at least, he pretended to. I didn't see it then, but love had blinded me to the warnings that were quietly screaming all around. It started small. Late-night texts he never explained. A lipstick stain on a hoodie I never wore. I told myself it was nothing. He was busy. Work was stressful. Then came the gaslighting. You're being paranoid. You're imagining things. He made me feel crazy for asking questions, like I was the problem. And still I stayed, because that's what love does. Sometimes it makes you betray yourself, but the truth always finds a way. One night, I came home early from a work event. Our apartment smelled like perfume, not mine. There was a wine glass on the table, lipstick red. His phone buzzed. I glanced. Last night was perfect. I can't stop thinking about you. My hands trembled. I remember the exact beat of my heart in that moment, like it wanted to run, escape, scream. I didn't confront him right away. I waited. I needed to see how deep the lie went. Days later, I followed him. He wasn't going to a meeting. He was going to her Claire, his coworker, blonde, polished, and smiling like she didn't just steal someone else's world. I stood across the street in the cold, watching him wrap his arm around her waist, kiss her forehead like he used to kiss mine. That was the moment my soul cracked. And from that crack, light came in. Not the soft kind, the burning kind. That night, I packed my things, left the journal, left the dreams, left the girl who needed him to feel whole. I cried for days. My body ached in places I didn't know could ache. I stopped eating, stopped laughing. I stared at my reflection, trying to find the woman he used to love. But she was gone. In her place was someone new, someone dangerous, someone determined. It was an ad I saw that changed everything. Turn your pain into power. Build your own brand. Something clicked. I used the last 600 in my account to buy a domain. www.stardreamstudio.com. The name we had picked together? Now it was mine. Only mine. I worked like a woman possessed. I watched tutorials, pitched small businesses, stayed up all night designing, branding, learning. I built my client list from zero. I messaged old contacts. I cried in the shower, but smiled on Zoom. I started posting videos on TikTok, how to build a brand from scratch, why your pain is your superpower. People listened. They connected. Within a year, my videos went viral. Clients from all over the US started hiring me. I moved into a small office in the West Loop, hired 2 interns, then a team. We were small but fierce, and every time I saw my logo, I remembered the girl who almost gave up. 2 years later, I was invited to speak at a startup tech conference in San Francisco. Guess who the keynote speaker was? Jason Carter. Life, huh? I wore my black power suit, hair slicked back, confidence like armor. When he saw me backstage, he froze. "Alana," he said, like a ghost had walked in. I smiled. "Jason." His eyes darted around, uncomfortable, searching for the girl he once controlled. But I was not her anymore. I was the storm he never saw coming. He tried to make small talk, talked about how crazy life's been, how things didn't work out with Claire. I let him talk. Then I handed him my card. CEO, founder. It read in gold letters. He looked at it like it burned. The moment of revenge wasn't loud. It was quiet. It was in the way he looked at me and saw everything he lost. It was in how I walked on that stage and told my story not with bitterness, but with fire and grace. The audience clapped. He clapped too, his eyes full of something that looked a lot like regret. After the event, he tried to catch up with me. Maybe we could grab coffee, just to catch up. I looked him in the eyes, smiled softly, and said, "I don't drink coffee with ghosts." Then I walked away. Some people think revenge is about hurting the one who hurt you, but the real revenge is becoming everything they said you couldn't. The real revenge is healing so loudly that their memory becomes background noise. I didn't need to destroy him. Life would handle that. I just needed to rise. And I did. From heartbroken to CEO. That's my story. And to the girl out there crying on her bedroom floor, thinking, it's the end, it's not. It's just your beginning.